President Trump is now expected to announce his peace plan for Ukraine and announce it very soon. Paul Rieckhoff is here now, founder of American Veterans for Ukraine. Good to see you, Paul, as always. So let's start with this. A couple of other topics for you as well. In particular, in the peace plan, there have been reports and suggestions that it might mean Ukraine has to give up even more land than they've already lost in exchange for a security guarantee. What do you think of all this?
I think we had a lot of head fakes on this before, and we won't believe it until it's done. I do think it's significant that they sent Army Secretary Dan Driscoll over there.
Yeah.
He's, I think, the most senior military leader that we've had over there so far. Hegseth himself hasn't gone. Obviously, Trump hasn't gone. But that might be a step forward to try to escalate the conversations among military leaders. I think it's important to just remind folks these attacks are still happening. We often get caught in domestic news. Last night, kids were killed, civilians were killed. A massive drone strike, over 400 drones, lots of missiles, continue to fall on civilians every day. And the fact that Poland and other NATO members are considering scrambling jets is very, very significant. And we can't lose sight of the fact that an attack on NATO and any NATO member is going to be considered an attack on all.
Let me look at the map here on the invasion of Ukraine and make a couple of points. You were making one of them already, that even in the western part of the country, we're seeing these attacks take place. This is what I was meaning with the land. We have it kind of in red or in pink there that Russia already controls. Is it inevitable at some point that moves west, that line moves?
No.
No,
I don't think so.
Don't think so.
I don't think so at all. No, I mean, Ukraine gets a vote here, and they've said no. Trump says yes, but he's not negotiating on their behalf. He's trying to be a middleman here. Until Zelensky says he's willing to give up significant portions of land and his own people are willing to do that, I don't think it's a given. I think they're going to continue to fight tooth and nail for every bit of land that they consider their own, just as we or any other sovereign nation would. If we said, hey, we got to give up Texas to Mexico or give up Alaska to the Russians, I don't think we would be easy to do it if someone in Europe was trying to negotiate a deal on our behalf. So unless Zelensky is at the table and unless Europe is at the table, I don't know how far it's going to go.
There's a couple of other things I wanted to ask you about today, and one of them I think you'd be the perfect person to ask. We've talked about Venezuela a number of times. Now there's this group of Democrats who've served in the military, they have military experience, who are calling on members, active duty members of the military, to disobey what they would see as quote-unquote illegal orders. So it's getting a lot of attention. They put something out on social media on this. Let me play it first, and then I want to see what you think about it. Here's what they said.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
Is this the right way to go about what they're trying to accomplish?
I don't think so. I mean, the Democrats often have a messaging problem and seem to be off on strategy, and I think this is an example of that. I don't know who their audience is because troops know that they have to refuse illegal orders. The question here is, what's the illegal order? If they want to be really helping troops or helping America, name what they think is the illegal order and then show the legal justification, because so far you may not agree with some of the decisions so far. They may be misguided, they may be even dumb, but they're not illegal. And until a court rules that they're illegal, you can't really put our troops in that crossfire. Now, Stephen Miller has come back and said that, these folks are trying to form an, insurrection. And I think the truth is always going to be somewhere in between, and our troops continue to be caught in the political maelstrom. That's the real problem here. I think a lot of troops are going to tune it out or just look even more skeptically at all politicians as they continue to kind of feel like a chew toy in the middle of all this.
Yeah, what Miller says is that 10 years after the deep state hoax, that top Democrats have openly appealed to the CIA, the military, to engage in rebellion against the commander.
Yeah, so that's not what they're doing. And he's way over the top. I think he always goes too far here. But what they're doing, I don't think is really going to move the needle, right? If you're an average enlisted soldier and you see this video, you're probably going to tune it out. When you go through basic training, when you go through officer training, you're trained to resist an illegal order. You understand it's part of your honor, it's part of your integrity.
So what the role for Congress would be different.
Yeah, here's the thing, focus on the president. If you think an order that he's given is illegal, then take that forward. The courts may rule that, for example, deploying the National Guard are illegal, or the Venezuelan strikes are illegal. But we're not there yet. And when we do come to that point, if the president continues to go forward, we're in for a constitutional crisis. And members of Congress are going to have to focus on the president and on each other, not necessarily on our enlisted troops all around the world.
I get it. Don't make the troops the story here. If you want to do something, do it on your end. I get what you're saying. Now, final point here in New York. Zohran Mamdani, of course, is going to be the mayor. He's the mayor-elect, and we thought, he would try to keep the police commissioner, Jessica Tisch, and now she says, yeah, she's gonna stay on. Thoughts on that?
I think it's an early Christmas present for the people of New York City. This is good for New York. It's good for the country. It's good for our national security. It's good for security in the city. Tisch is trusted. She's respected by the cops. She's viewed as a moderate person who's been able to get things done. I think she might have aspirations of being mayor herself one day,
right.
and she could be viewed as a moderate. But for Mamdani, this is a win also. I mean, he needs to come in and show that the police are stable, because if they're not, and there's any kind of labor disputes, any kind of standoff with the cops, Trump's going to be the first one to step in and probably take advantage of that.
Is it a sign you think he might not be as radical as some people feared, or?
I don't know about that. I think, look, he's got to shore up the NYPD. If you don't shore up the NYPD, you can't control the city. So I think for everyone, no matter what your political background is, having Commissioner Tisch in that role, I think, is bipartisanly considered a strong move, a good move, and creates some continuity in what's sure to be a lot of disruption in the next couple of months.
No doubt. All right, Paul, as always, thank you. Paul Rieckhoff with us this week. Now, we're talking about this bill meant to